I'm Toya Brasky from Galveston, Texas. Don't let the smile on my face fool you. I sometimes smile even when I have great anxiety and even when I'm under great stress. I think that it's a coping mechanism for just trying to fool myself and putting a smile on my face even when I feel worried, sick. So, I try to always be happy. Sometimes things are out of our hands. I have great anxiety because tomorrow, on April the 28th, on Monday, it is my scheduled breast biopsy. I have been dealing with the knowledge that I have multiple bilateral breast masses on both sides of my breast. February through April, I've had 3 scans. Those are a breast MRI, a 3D mammogram, which is different than a regular mammogram. It is more diagnostic. I also had breast ultrasound. During all 3 scans, the final result was multiple masses bilaterally scattered in both breasts. There are multiple types of masses. Some look like cysts. They are oval in shape and are most likely the majority benign. There were only 1 or 2 that were suspicious that were labeled BIRAD4, which is a grading system used in ultrasound to determine whether something looks benign or cancerous. So there is a scale from 1 to 6. 3, which is what most of my masses are labeled as, is probably not cancer, but still needs to be looked at or probably biopsied just in case. Only 1 or 2 of my masses were labeled BIRAD4, which is a low possibility of cancer to a high risk of malignancy. So, those kind of things can worry you. Also, my mother is a breast cancer survivor, and interestingly, 4 of my siblings, including me, 5 children, we all had breast masses. Those were benign. Now, in some cases, the masses in our breast were large enough that we had to have surgical intervention. So in my 20s, I had 2 very large fibroid adenomas that had grown into my chest wall, into my rib cage. And so in my 20s, when they removed those, they had to take out breast tissue so that they would not grow back. And so it left my breast uneven. And so what they did was they took out tissue and then they used mastectomy implants for symmetry to even out the breast. So they put in 2 different size implants so that I would have a symmetry to my breast after the surgery. So it was considered breast reconstruction. So I had those implants in my body for 40 years. I'm now 61 years old. Last year, those implants ruptured and I began to have complications with that. And so it was not until the beginning of this year that I sought medical help. And during that time, I got the confirmation that the implants had both ruptured, and during the scans they also found multiple masses. So, um, I'm scheduled for a needle core biopsy tomorrow and also a cyst aspiration. Each of those procedures will be about an hour on each breast, maybe a little longer. So I'm thinking I will probably be in the biopsy room for about 3 hours. Um, it's scary to think about having the needle biopsy, but I have been told that they use topical lidocaine on top of the breast, and then they also inject lidocaine into the breast so that you don't feel when they're doing the biopsies. So I'm not looking forward to it, but it's something that I have to do. And really, in hindsight, I actually do believe that fenbendazole, menbendazole, and ivermectin has shrunk a lot of tumors and masses and gotten rid of a lot of cancer and healed people. I wish that 3 months ago, when they told me that I had multiple masses in my chest, that instead of scheduling the biopsy, that I would have just ordered the fenbendazole, the ivermectin, taken it, and came back 3 months later to have a scan to see did it change the masses in my breast. Unfortunately, I didn't do that, and I ended up paying nearly all my salary to have multiple scans and to have this biopsy tomorrow. So, I hope that it turns out that I am one of the 80% of the lucky women that come back from breast biopsy and are told that it was nothing more than benign masses. That is really my hope. That will be a joyous moment to get those results back and find out that I was worried for nothing. This was all benign. Now, if I am one of the 20% that inherited the cancer gene from my mother, who is a breast cancer survivor, and I'm told that I have cancer, already my doctors are going to hate me because I would not want a mastectomy. I would not want to do radiation or even chemo. I truly would choose an alternative treatment like fenbendazole or ivermectin. And in that case, I know that I'm going to face opposition from physicians. It doesn't matter. That's my choice to be experimental and to choose my own treatment. And anyone going through something like this, you should choose what you feel is right for you. Now, I wanted to say, as a psychic, a true psychic, not someone that pretends to be a psychic, someone who has had many conversations with disembodied spirits, the afterlife is very real. I have no fear whatsoever of dying of cancer, of dying of anything. Death is not really death. You just basically step out of this avatar body and you are a spirit who is alive and eternal. You can come back. You can be earthbound. You could be reborn and reincarnated. There's so many options. It's really a graduation, a celebration of really becoming more than what you are now. This is just a stopover. So I'm not afraid of dying of cancer. What I'm afraid of is the expense, the medical expense. That has been a burden to me for several months now. To have all of these scans, even with medical insurance, I'm paying almost 30% of every bill of what the insurance does not pay. and it's just eating me alive. I'm sad that in America we don't have universal health care, and so this is really affecting me financially. Regardless of whether I have cancer and this is benign, I still have to have this surgery. I still have to have this surgery because I have the ruptured mastectomy implants that have to be exchanged. I still have to have surgery because I have multiple masses in my chest. So I still have to pay this expense. So if you can imagine that just the breast biopsy alone was $4,000 to $5,000, my part of that financial responsibility is $1,500. I still have surgery coming up where I may need plastic surgery and a surgery specialist, and then those surgeries can run several $1,000s, and I will owe 30% of that. So I'm just constantly being inundated with financial responsibility that is above my salary. So that has been a big strain to me. There's a lot of things that you have to ask, like, are the surgeon's expectations the same as mine? So, aside from the breast masses, because my mastectomy implants have ruptured, I wanted to have a simple surgery where I have a cut under the breast like the original surgery. I did not want any of the patch quilt reconstructive surgeries where they have the odd scar that comes up to the nipple or up here to lift the breast, or where they take skin grafts from other parts of the body. I did not want that, and I certainly did not want any type of mastectomy. So I told my surgeon that what I really wanted was for her to take out the ruptured implants from underneath my muscle. So understand when I say that, the ruptured implants are not in my breast at all. They are underneath my muscle of my chest wall, and that gives the illusion of a more pushed out breast. But unfortunately, as you age, as you gain weight, that does not support the breast. So the breast continued to move down, but your chest is still projected out by the breast implant. If you have a inflated implant, mine have ruptured, so everything that you see in my chest is my actual breast. There's no implant in my breast whatsoever. It is flattened and it is ruptured in my chest right now. So I told the plastic surgeon, my idea is to remove those from underneath the muscle, and then I would like a new implant to reshape my breast, put in the breast, like over the muscle inside my breast. And she agreed with me. She said that she would like to put a new implant, a implant exchange or replacement in the glandular tissue of the breast. And the reason for that is, as we age, it's better to have that type of implant in your breast because it maintains the shape of your breast, as to where one under the muscle would not support the breast at all. They would continue to fall with gravity and just kind of like droop over that muscle expansion. But a implant in the breast sort of keeps the shape of the breast. So I already have large breasts. I have a D cup right now, naturally. So I don't want to be grotesquely large breasted. I think anything past a double D is kind of excessive. So unfortunately, because I only want the scar under the breast, she told me that in order to do what I want her to do with the implant, that my breast will be larger. She said not grotesquely larger, but my breast will come out larger. And the reason for that is because once they take out the other implant and then they try to even out my breast, they will use a very round implant in the breast, which will reshape my breast. And the implants that are put inside the breast are more projectile than having an implant under the muscle. So in that case, my breast will stick out more because the implant is actually in the breast, kind of like this, like projecting them up and out. So it could be a good thing. It might actually be very attractive. So I hope that that's the case. She said that if the biopsy comes back benign, that we can proceed with the implant exchange, and I can get on with my life, and we can treat the fibroids, or we can treat the benign lesions as we get to that, but we can go ahead and do the implant exchange. Well, then she became very quiet. And she said, but if it's cancer, you know that changes our plans. Then we will have to decide another course of action. So I hope and I pray that it is not cancer, that this is not delayed, because I want to get this over with. I want to just go in, have my implant exchange. I feel like I could take fenbendazole and ivermectin, even if this isn't cancer, and it may shrink those masses that are in my breast or get rid of any cyst, and I might be absolutely fine from now on. I hope that that's the case. I don't like the idea of having to have a needle biopsy. The needle is really large and kind of intimidating to look at. I don't think I'll look at it at all when I'm in this biopsy. I learned that they put topical lidocaine on the breast, and then they inject the breast with lidocaine so that you can't feel the inside of your breast, so that when they are taking the biopsy tissue out, you won't feel that. So I hope that that's the case. Please wish me well. I hope that I'm able to come on here really happy and tell you that it was all benign and that I was worried basically for nothing. And that everything is going to be okay, and that I'm going to be able to reconstruct my breasts, and everything is fine, and I can go on with the life. So please wish me well for tomorrow. Bye.